Hello, my hardworking class. Mrs. Adams here. Today we're going to look at Lesson 6 in our Vocabulary from Classical Roots book. And I brought my marbles because just the fact that you're here doing your work deserves some reward. Lesson 6. This lesson is all about connecting. The root SOCI, as in social, means being part of a group. The root MEM, as in memory, means remembering. In each of the following keywords, underline the root. So this is what the exercise is asking you to do. Remember, the word that we're focusing on is SOCI. So here's that root, SOCI. The root is the middle part of the word that tells you a little bit about what the word means. Association, SOCI. We are underlining just the root. Commemorate. Here's our MEM, as in remembering. Dissociate, as in SOCI. Memento, MEN. Memorandum, MEM. Memorial, MEM. Remembrance, MEM. And society, SOCI. Sociologist, SOCI. Using root clues. Remember, the middle of the word, it's a clue to tell you what the word means. So here we are again, the roots soci, a group of people, and mem, remembering, give you clues to meaning. This is another great place to highlight. You might notice that they've phrased it differently. Up here, being part of a group for SOCI, and just a group of people for SOCI. Sometimes they phrase it slightly different and it's still close enough in meaning like a synonym, but it's helpful to know the difference. When you spot one of these roots in a word, you have a key to the word's meaning. Use the underlined root clues to help you match the following columns. So let's first read all of our words and all of our options before we start making choices. SOCI, sociologist. MEM, memento. MEM, commemorate. SOCI for social. Now remember, we haven't read the definitions yet in this exercise. I'm taking an educated guess because we do know what part of the word means. We know what the root is. Let's read what our choices are. A, to come together for remembering. B, a person who studies a group of people. C, against a group of people. Or D, an object for remembering something. Well, I remember up here that MEM meant remembering and SOCI meant a group of people. So I can take a look at the two center ones, MEM and MEM, and automatically know that they're going to be one of these two options because that's the root that means remembering. And we can say the same for these two options where the root is SOCI because that root means a group of people. So pause the video here and see if you can fill in the blanks. Okay, how'd you do? Let's take a look. MEM, I'm going to start with this one because I know for sure it's one of the ones that's remembering. Memento and commemorate. Memento, is it to come together for remembering or is it an object for remembering something special? Memento is D. That's going to mean that the other mem for remembering, commemorate, means to come together for remembering. A. So we've now eliminated two choices And we know that the middle two are going to be for words with SOCI. A sociologist. Is a sociologist a person who studies a group of people, or is a sociologist against a group of people? Well, I know I've heard ologist before in other words, and it reminds me of when we learned about scientists, people that study. So I'm going to go with a person who studies a group of people. As we get farther in the lesson and you come across more information, you can always come back to this and change your answers. Because remember, we're just using clues at this point. We haven't actually read through the whole lesson yet. And the reason that the book does that is because they really want to try to encourage you to be a detective for your own learning. Okay, so process of elimination, C is left over. Let's read on. The root clues did not give you complete definitions, as the following dictionary listings will, but they helped you with each word by giving you part of the meaning, right? They gave us these parts, the root. In addition, the prefix clue, so the pre means before, the prefix clue anti, up here, anti, it's at the beginning of the word, meaning against, was helpful with the word antisocial. And the prefix clue com, for C-O-M, meaning together, was helpful in the word commemorates. Let's highlight our root word in large, bold, uppercase letters. You're going to be referring back to these throughout the lesson. Antisocial. Antisocial is an adjective. It's a descriptive word. It means unfriendly, not enjoying the company of others. Here's an example of how this word has two definitions. Harmful or hostile to the society of other people. Word number 2, association. It's a noun. The first definition, a club, society, or organization of people with similar interests. The second definition, connection, friendship. Word number 3, dissociate. It's a verb, means it's an action word. To break the ties between, separate from, stop associating with. The noun version of this word is dissociation. Word number 4, society. Society is a noun. The first definition is people, human beings living and working as a group or community. The second definition is a club, association, or organization of people with similar interests. The adjective version of this word is societal. So that would be the descriptive way to use that word. Let's read the nota bene. 2 keywords in the lessons are synonyms. Remember, synonyms means words that are close in meaning. Association and society. Association and society. Both words have the root soci, and both can mean an organization of people with similar interests. Word number 5, sociologist. It's a noun. A scientist who works in the area of sociology, which examines the relationships, values, and institutions of communities of people. Here's the next set of words that's going to be in the root mem, or mem. That is the Latin word for memoria, meaning memory. Again, notice the slight difference in their definition. Here, mem for memory, and at the beginning, mem for remembering. Remembering and memory, pretty close. Word number 6, commemorate. It's a verb. It's an action word, something you can do. To honor the memory of. The noun version of this word is commemoration, and the adjective version of this word is commemorative. Word number 7, memento. It's a noun, which means it's a thing. An object that reminds one of a special time or place. Word number 8, memorandum. Often shortened to memo. So sometimes people will say memo, and what they really mean is memorandum. Did you read the memo? It's a noun, which means it's a thing. A written or typed note to help one remember something. Word 9, memorial. It's a noun, which means it's a thing. A monument or statue built in memory of a person or an event. As an adjective, serving as a reminder. And lastly, word number 10, remembrance. It's a noun, which means it's a thing. An object that keeps a memory of something alive. Let's take a look at exercise A. Exercise A, synonyms. Synonyms mean similar. Write the letter of the best synonym, so the word or phrase most nearly the same in meaning as the word in boldface typed. Boldface just means the words that are darker, right? And thicker. And all of the words that are bold in this exercise A are vocabulary words that we just read. Don't forget to read all of your options first. So, a curious sociologist. Well, is a sociologist a scientist? Is it a saying? Is a sociologist speech? Or is a sociologist performance? Let's find the word sociologist. Here we go, number 5. And here it tells us that it's a scientist. So we can go circle A and write the letter A. Number 2, an ancient society. Is a society a statue? Is society a building? Is it a group or is it land? Find your word in bold. Here's your root. So we know it's going to come from the previous page because they're organized by root. Society, people, or a club. So it's not going to be a statue, a building, or land. It's a club, it's a group. C. Number 3, to dissociate from. S-O-C-I is our root. Is it enclose, separate, protect, or collect? Let's find our word. It's going to be in the section of S-O-C-I. Here's dissociate, means to break the ties. So we can come over here and see, well, enclosing is the opposite, and we want a synonym, not an antonym, so it's not going to be the opposite word. Separate, protect, or collect. Separate is the one that's closest to breaking ties. B. Let's take a look at 4. To be antisocial. Does being antisocial mean being friendly? Does it mean being sure? Does it mean being hostile? Or does it mean being unhappy? The word that most closely represents this word, antisocial, there's your root, S-O-C-I. Reading what antisocial means, unfriendly, not enjoying the company of others. Well, it doesn't mean friendly, it means unfriendly. Does it mean sure? Hostile and unhappy. Well, this is one of those words where reading the second definition is really important. If you take a look down here, it feels like we're done. But look at the next page. There's a second definition. Harmful or hostile. The word hostile, I remember that was one of our options. So there you go. It's letter C. Number 5, a boring memorandum. M-E-M is our root, so it's going to be over here underneath this root word. Is a memorandum a speech? Is it just a memory? Is it a story? Or is it a note? Let's find the definition. A written or typed note. Here we go. D. Great job. Let's take a look at exercise B, meaning in context. Remember, the word context means what it is surrounded by. So what the word is surrounded by helps you understand what the word means by looking at the words before and after and the sentence that it's included in. Use the words to fill in the blanks in the following paragraphs. First, we should read what our options are: memorial, remembrance, association, commemorate, mementos. Then we should make sure that we read the whole paragraph first before we start trying to fill in the blanks. Many of these words are very similar to each other, so it's important that we know the full context of the paragraph. When Javier's big sister Rosita graduated from high school, his mother wanted to make it a very special occasion. "Javier," she said, "I'm going to invite several of our friends from the Yates neighborhood, because Rosita has known them for years. Your grandfather will the occasion by taking photos. Your grandmother has made a scrapbook with of Rosita's high school days. I thought we could give her a book as a of her graduation." "Yes," agreed Javier. "And then after the ceremony, let's celebrate with a picnic at Eleanor Roosevelt Park." So now we're going to try to fill in the blanks. I've noticed right away that the one that stands out to me the most is number 5, because it has all capitals in the 3 letters in context or surrounding number 5. So that must mean that it's a proper noun because all the letters are capital. So it's going to be a person, place, or thing. I'm going to hop up to my options. Memorial is capital and association is capital. So let's plug both in and see which one works. Remember, a memorial is a monument or statue built in memory of a person or event. It can also serve as a reminder. Let's see. "Yes," agreed Javier. "And then after the ceremony, let's celebrate with a picnic at Eleanor Roosevelt Memorial Park, Eleanor Roosevelt Association Park." Still not quite sure. So let's take a look at what the word association means. Association is a club, a society, or an organization of people with similar interests, and it means a connection or friendship. Well, I've also noticed up here that Yates neighborhood is also a proper noun, and a neighborhood is a group of people, just like we read about association. So association fits in number 1 and memorial fits in number 5. Don't forget to cross off the ones that you've already used to help you see what you have left. So let's go ahead and read the sentence in context for number 2. Your grandfather will the occasion by taking photos. Well, what stands out to me is the word will. Will leads us into thinking that it's going to be an action. Something will do, and that is a verb. So I'm going to look out for a word that is a verb that can fit. Remembrance, commemorate, or mementos. Well, remembrance is a noun here. Memento is also a noun. So let's confirm that commemorate is a verb. There, it's a verb, and it means to honor the memory of. Another way to see if the word is correct is to replace the word with the actual definition and see if it sounds good. So we could try it. Your grandfather will honor the memory of the occasion by taking photos. That sounds great. Commemorate. So now we're left with 2 words. Both these words are very similar in meaning. Remembrance is an object that keeps a memory of something alive, and a memento is an object that reminds someone of a special time or place. The thing that's going to help us determine the difference between those two is the sentence in context. Let's read them. Your grandmother has made a scrapbook with of Rosita's high school days. So whatever word fits here is going to be inside of a scrapbook. And the other sentence for number 4, I thought we could give her a book as a of her graduation. I think the giveaway between these two is going to be the fact that the word up here has added an S. So they're talking about plural, which means more than one memento. Let's try to fit this word into these two and see which one is going to be more than one thing. Your grandmother has made a scrapbook with mementos of Rosita's high school days. Or, I thought we could give her a book as a mementos of her graduation. Notice here that there is a single A, which is referring to one thing. That's going to let us know that mementos doesn't fit on line 4, and it sounded great on line 3. Cross it out once you use it, and process of elimination. Let's read it to make sure it makes sense. I thought we could give her a book as a remembrance of her graduation. Perfect. All right, exercise B, done. Let's turn the page and look at exercise C. Exercise C, extend your vocabulary. So we're going to go a little bit farther. The science or scientist is a suffix, is ology or ologist. So the suffix is the part of the word that happens at the end of the word. Okay, at the end of the word. Sociology is the science that examines the way people live together in societies. That's going to be important for us. Let's highlight it. So, sociology is the science, okay? A sociologist is a person who studies sociology or who works in the field of sociology. Okay, highlighting that sentence. And the main part of that was the person. So the logi is the science and the logist is the person. Logi is the science and logist is the person. Okay. Look at the following words. See if you can fill in the blanks with the correct name for each science. Remember to read all your options first. So let's read those. Geology, biology, psychology, paleontology, and zoology. What I want to point out to you here is that all of these words are ending in ology. So we know that all of these words are going to have to do with the science. So if we underline the ology or the logi, you're going to notice what's left is the prefix, the beginning part of the word. Geo, bio, psych, paleont, and zoo. At the very beginning of the book, on the inside cover, there's a whole list of really helpful roots, the middle of the word, prefix, the beginning of the word, and suffix, the end of the word. Now, this list is not complete with everything that you need in the book, but sometimes it helps us find parts. So, the science of life. Let's see if we can find geo, bio, psych, paleo, or zoo on this front cover to give us a clue. If you start scrolling down, you're going to notice right off the bat, bio means life, which is also one of the words that we studied in lesson 5. So we can go ahead and feel comfortable about putting bio, meaning life, under the science of life. Logi, science, bio, life. Cross it out once it's used. Number 2, the science of animal life. What lives in a zoo? Animals. Here we go, zoo and animals. That makes plenty of sense. Number 3, the science of soil and rocks. Well, our options left are geology, psychology, or paleontology. If any of you have ever been geo-hunting or cracked open rocks or learned about the earth, you might recognize the word geology. Geo is talking about the dirt and the rocks on the earth. Cross it off once you've used it. The science of emotions and behavior. Is it psychology? Is it paleontology? Well, maybe you've heard of a psychologist. A psychologist studies the brain and how the emotions and behavior are affected because of the brain. Paleontology, maybe you remember from reading books about dinosaurs and learning about a paleontologist is someone that goes and studies dinosaur bones or other prehistoric life. So, psychology fits under number 4 because it has to do with the brain and the emotions and behavior of a human. And paleontology fits for number 5 because it's the science of fossils of prehistoric, so before history, which for us, dinosaurs were before any human written history, and the plant life that was before us as well, paleontology. Hey, look at that. We're almost done. Great job. Now, fill in the correct name for the person who works in each science. What stands out to me here is the person who works in each science. This is what they want. That is really going to make a difference with what you write. So, number 6, a scientist who studies biology. Well, we talked about biology up here, that it's the study of life. And since logi is the science and logist is the person, we can say that the biologist is the person. So all you have to do is add the suffix logist to the prefix bio. Logist. Number 7, a scientist who studies zoology. Up here, we decided zoo had to do with the science of animals. Take your prefix, zoo, add your suffix, logist, to say that it is the person who studies zoology or who studies animal life, a zoologist. Number 8, a scientist who studies geology is okay, here we go. Prefix geo, studying rocks and soil, and logist, your suffix, which is the end of the word, meaning the person who studies that science. Circle the suffix meaning an area of study, a science. Okay, now look here. They're asking for the area. Well, we just filled in all 3 logists, the suffix logist, that meant the person. So logist is not the area. Logist is the person. Let's circle B. Logi means the area of study. And that reminds you up here just to see the logi is the science that examines the way people live. And number 10, here we go. Circle the suffix. Remember the suffix is the last part of the word, meaning a person who works in an area of study, a scientist. Here's our clue, a person, okay? Biologist, zoologist, geologist, psychologist, paleontologist. Ogist. And you're done. Thanks for completing Lesson 6 with me. Great work, team.